Hello, this is a video in my series on classroom management for computer classrooms. What you're looking at here is NetSupport School, and it's a computer lab program where you can monitor students and control what they're doing on the computers. And there's lots of different things you can do with it. You can set up quizzes and things, show videos over it. But the two things I'm going to take a look at the most in this video is the web filter and the lab monitoring portion of this software, which makes it really good to keep the kids on task when it comes to doing their work on the computers. And also it's a good way to not be disruptive when it comes to having to get a student back on task. And no substitute for walking around the class every now and then, but this does save you some time. Like let's say little Mikey here, there he is playing a game. So I got to get him back on task. There's a game. He's playing something Earn to Die. So you can imagine what if somebody else comes in the room, sees that. And kids are really good about going back and forth, just like I did there, from whatever they're supposed to be working in, which in this case is our 3D program, 3ds Max, and the stained glass window there, and skipping over as soon as your back's turned or you're helping another student, they go right on back to the game. Real sneaky about this. So here's what you need to do. You see him there playing the game. And if you're helping a student like nearby them or something, you can simply say, get off of that, please, or you're going to be in trouble. But if you're back at your console, you can actually send the student a message. And I found this much more effective when it comes to specific computer things, like playing games on the computers. Instead of doing your work, it works out a little bit better than actually having to walk over to the student and get on them or call them out kind of in front of other students. So I send that message, and you can see this is the message the student sees. I can set how much time the student is to display, and the student can OK that. And now they know that I'm watching them and they're going to a game. Now if they continue doing it, there's something kind of special I could do here. I can actually take over their screen and close them out of things as well. But I found kind of a quicker way of doing it that also teaches them a good lesson in not just staying on task when it comes to working on a computer, which can be really difficult even for adults with all kinds of cool stuff on the internet to look at. And look at here's one that's a knife throw. Very inappropriate for school. And if you see a kid using that, that means that it needs to be fixed. So once again, I can send the student a message. And depending on the student and depending on how much I've caught them off task like this would depend on how much I sent and what type of message I'd send. So I'm warning them here I'm going to clear their desktop. And I'm going to show what that is. Basically, clearing a student's desktop turns off anything they have on back to the desktop. So not only does it knock Chrome out with the game on it here, it also closes out of our software we're using, 3ds Max, on the back side there. So that means if the student was working on something and they haven't saved it before they went to play their game, here's the clear desktop, then it's going to be gone after I clear the desktop here. So I cleared little Mikey's desktop. Now I'm going to go take a look at it and you'll see no more game. It's gone. And if they didn't save whatever it was they were working on in the background, whether it was a 3DS design, a 3D design like the one I had up there, or a Word document, or a PowerPoint presentation, or an Excel spreadsheet, it's gone. So I'm going to start this back up and show you another thing you could do. Now this is good for students that are chronic about doing this, because teenagers love their games, and they would rather play games than do just about anything, even cool stuff like creating 3D models. So here's what you can do, and this will ensure that the student doesn't go back to this game again. I'm going to note the URL that they're using to go to these unblocked games here. And I'm going to go to my web filter, and I'm going to add it as one of my restricted websites. And you could also go to your IT department and all and get it on added to the school's web filter as well, but this is just a quick way to do it. And this takes just a second to do. I just type in the URL here, and it will block it out. And NetSupport is one of many different types of programs that are there that work like this. So once again, I make sure the URL is the same and I OK it. But all these lab control programs kind of work the same way. And notice that my lab control program is now blocking little Mikey from that particular website. And if he goes to another, I can follow the same procedure. I can send him a message, clear his desktop. And once again, all without having to disrupt the class or having to call the student out in front of his friends and all just an interaction between me and the student. So I hope you find this helpful if you control a computer lab, because sometimes it's hard just to walk around and get to every single one. Always be sure to walk around and talk to the students and stuff when you're doing this as well. Don't just stay at your computer. Actually, keep my computer propped up to where I can get to it when I'm standing. That way I can both monitor the kids on my computer and go back and walk around if I need to. Also, another video I'll show on this a little bit later on is I can actually connect to a student's computer and see what they're doing. Like in the case of my classes that I'm currently teaching, I'm doing 3D modeling, and it's really hard to kind of lean over the student and see what's going on. So what NetSupport lets me do is I can actually go in there and I can bring up the computer screen of the student here standing at my desk, and then I can either have them up here with me and go over stuff, or I can have them sitting at their desk and me going over it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and look out for more.